I have a question for Ms. Soren.
Yep.
What was it that you heard about St. Madness from Van Pearson that made you want to audition or come down and meet everybody and see if you'd like to audition for the band?
Something nice, I hope.
Yeah, it was some of it was nice. Yeah, it was actually the brotherhood, just the way the band is bonded together, and just the feel of family is the way he described it, and it was attractive to me. Then I went down and saw the first show and loved the music. That's pretty much it.
Anyone?
I have one for Pat. Out of your band, how many CDs did you do in each, as you changed people?
How many CDs did I do?
Per each.
Lineup?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, that's kind of tough because the Loneliness is Black CD featured the original members of the band, and back then it was like no face paint, no theatrics. We had like some banners and a few lights and some smoke. Hey, smoke. So each album, it's weird because it's much different than when you're signed to a label, because when you're signed to a label and all that, they get the albums out much quicker. And so for us, when we put out an album, it might take us 3 years to get it completely completed. And in that time, you might lose a member or two. It happens. And that happened to us a few times where by the time we released an album, we already had 2 new people in the band. But we were releasing that album and supporting the former album with the older members. So out of 11 albums, for me to go through that, it would be like, oh my God, to try to think about, okay, who was all on, like Van Pearson was on Loneliness is Black, he was on Spiritual Visions, he was on God Bless America, he's also on We Make Evil Fun, and he's even on Carnimetal because we have the live stuff back at the Electric Ballroom. But then when you move on from there, we had Frankenshred in the band, and he was on God Bless America and Scare the World, and he's also on We Make Evil Fun. And then after that, we had Christian Satan in the band, whose original name was Altar Boy, and he was on Vampires in the Church, Satanic, he's on Carnimetal, and he's also on the First Prophet and the Cowboys of Apocalypse album. Now, Mad Marvin and Uno Mosh, they're only on Vampires in the Church. Big Daddy Shug, who first was known as D, then he was Dark Soul, then he was Decay, and then he was Big Daddy Shug. He likes to change his name on every album, and he's virtually on at least 9 albums. And then Randall Mad Drums was originally on Loneliness is Black, and then he's on Live 55.
Yeah, but we'll always know him as Dumb Can.
Yeah, Dumb Can, yeah. Yeah, that was a horrible thing. By the time we released Spiritual Visions, Marge and the band, we were all proud of it, and somebody said to Marge, is your drummer upset? And she's like, well, no, why would he be upset? Well, his name's misspelled on the album. And he even approved it. We all approved it. We all looked at it. After a while, when you're reading all this text in albums, it kind of runs together. And you think you're being like real anal or whatever you'd say to get everything just right. But by the time you get it back, there's always fuck-ups on there, And so Scarlet Rivers was on Bloodlust Escapades and Live 55. And Devil and Lucius is on Satanic, Canonizing Carnage, Carnimetal, and on Satanic, we had Altar Boy with us at that time, Devil and Lucius on bass, and who became Big Daddy Shug on drums and me on vocals. And then on Canonizing Carnage, we had Heinous James on lead guitar, who's also, besides Canonizing Carnage, he's on Carnimetal. And we had Sir Psycho on drums, same thing. He's on Canonizing Carnage and he's on Carnimetal. I think I covered them all, but
That's pretty much it.
that's a lot of people. And aside from that, we've had other members in the band that weren't around long enough to make an album. So I don't really, I'm not saying that I don't include them, but I focus mostly on the people who stood around, who stayed with the band long enough to make records. And I have to also mention Marcus Draven and Solon Graves, because they're on Carnimetal, and they recorded 3 songs for Carnimetal with us, and I think that's everybody.
Don't bogart that joint, my friend.
Oh, I wonder. I was just waiting to relight it. You have a question, Jim? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll pass it back to you as soon as I get it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And thanks, Jim, for giving us this tasty joint.
Yeah, marijuana courtesy of Jim Dawson. You are the man.
Blood Luscapades.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, what, you know, when we get, that, what's it, Brazil? Were they the ones to that interview?
Oh, in Argentina?
In Argentina?
Yeah.
Argentina, okay.
That's Thundersteel magazine in Argentina.
So what did you think?
Thundersteel.
What did you think at first
Of
of what they wanted to do?
I loved it, man. I was excited. You know, it's never been our goal to only be a band known in Arizona. Now, Arizona's home, and we love our scene, and we love Arizona. But we didn't start the band to only be known here. So every time we have new product, we send it all over the world. And if I find a magazine somewhere, I'll send them an email and say, hey, do you guys take submissions for possible album reviews and stuff? And you know, a lot of times they're like, yeah. Sometimes they don't even respond to you, but or if it's a radio station or whatever. So that's how that happened. I basically just found them online, and I sent them a message, and I said, we put out this record, you want to check it out? And so I sent them the first 4 tracks that I've sent to everybody, which is Riding a Harley in Heaven, Made in China, what's the other ones that I did? Blood Luscapades, and I know there's another one in there.
Walk Your Own Path.
Walk Your Own Path. So those are the 4 songs that I sent to every radio station, which is probably thousands now, to kind of release the new album and introduce it to people. And they heard those songs and they liked them so much, they said, listen, we'd really love to interview you, your band, and you know, put you in there and do a review of the album. So that's how that happened.
I seem to like it.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think? Like Sid, what were you thinking and feeling when we were creating Blood Luscapades? Because that was really our first whole album together.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought how we started writing, and it was very interesting how all the songs on the record we like wrote in that order. So it was almost like the album wrote itself over the time that we wrote it, which took several months to write, if not over a year or whatever. But, you know, I really thought it came together. It was from the heart. Everybody put in on it. You know, it was just, it has a really cool vibe of that the band, you know, I think it was almost magical the way it came together.
You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot. We wrote those songs and recorded them in the order that we wrote them. Like on other albums, I'll listen for a flow of song to song. On that album, we just went in and we did them as they were written, and we left it that way. And I love that record. You know, and like you said, it kind of wrote itself. Devlin, what is your favorite St. Madness album and why?
Wow, man, that is a good question. I don't even know why I'm in the band.
You brought chicken, you're in the band.
Chicken is the basic requirement.
Actually, it's well, my favorite song, and it's not even an album that I was even on, is "My Love Is Pain." And we redid the song on the album that I did, but originally I wasn't the bass player, but that is my favorite song by St. Matt. Other than that, I would have to say, of course, Death Drives a Buick.
Yeah, and My Love Is Pain was actually on the first album.
Right. And why Death Drives a Buick is my favorite song is because it is actually the very first song that I sat down with Pat and the band and got to be the bass player for St. Magnus.
Cool. I love that song too.
Patrick, same question. What's your favorite? Of all the St. Madness songs you've done, everything you've got, what's your favorite?
Wow. A favorite song?
Yeah.
Probably Don't Be Like the Blind. That they're in our writing. Some of our stuff is comical and it's for entertainment's sake. Other stuff is to be offensive. Like, the song Sexual Abuse, I had promised the band that by next rehearsal I'll have lyrics. And I was getting ready to go to rehearsal and oh my God, fuck, I forgot to write that song. So I just thought to myself, what is like the most offensive shit I could say? And I wrote this all down and that ended up becoming Sexual Abuse. And it was just like, I wasn't really thinking hard about it. I was just like, okay, how can I offend a lot of people in one song? And the funny thing about that is we'll be on stage, and we haven't played Sexual Abuse live recently. I'm sure we will again, but I can be on stage and sing this filthy shit to married women, and it's stuff that they probably wouldn't let their own husband say to them. And we can play this song for them. They just love it, and they're dancing
along with it.
And I love that about it. For us, it's just about entertainment and making people happy, and none of it's ever been about a rock star attitude or stuff like that. My personal concern, and I'm sure they'd agree, is that every single person who paid to get in that door or got in the door as a guest or whatever, that every person in that audience has a good time as far as how we can influence that. Our show is about people in the audience being able to take a mental vacation from their problems and their bills and to be able to laugh, have fun, get angry, mosh, and just go crazy for an hour, 2 hours, whatever the show is, the time limit, and to just forget about their other world and be on a mental vacation, just to have fun.
1 or 1,000, we're going to entertain you.
For us, at least.
Yeah, or ourselves, mostly.
Now, Evil T,
Yes.
you've been in the band now a year.
Yeah.
Give it a grade. Tell us what the year's been like.
A grade, I would go with an A.
Good answer.
You don't have to bring chicken in.
No, I've had an awesome time. I get to hit things really hard, and no one yells at me for doing that. And the songs are great. You get out a lot of your frustrations, your daily bullshit stuff. It just makes you feel good, and add on top of that the legacy of this thing here called St. Madness, And it feels good to be a part of, and let's roll.
And you know what? Aside from that, in our spare time, we're recording a second Prophet and the Cowboys of Apocalypse record, which is acoustic. So we come in here one night a week. They break out their acoustic guitars and whatever acoustic percussion instruments, or, we're going to have some other people play on it. But one day a week we come down here and we do acoustic music. And then 2 other days we do St. Madness music. And it's really, for me personally, it's really awesome to put my mind in a completely different musical state when we're writing and recording acoustic music. And I promise you that Prophet and the Cowboys of Apocalypse record's going to be really cool. we're really excited about it, and we're all on it,
Right.
you know, as well as some of our friends. What we do on those albums is we just bring in other people. I've already talked with Dave Cornwall, and Dave Cornwall put little keyboard, 12-string guitar, little touches of music on a few songs on Canonizing Carnage, and he did a few songs on Bloodlust Escapades, and he's also going to do the same thing with orchestration and so forth through keyboards, and I'm sure I'll have him do some 12-string and stuff on the New Prophet record as well. So, yeah.
You know, it took me a long time to feel comfortable being on stage.
Really?
Yeah. See, because you guys are together all the time. And once I got used to it, I couldn't wait for the next time to be up there. What's it feel like? I mean, it's like, do you still get that feeling every time you're up there? I mean, in front of the audience and just everything that's going on around you. It's just you feel that family thing every time, and it's meant a lot to me. So this helped me also, because me starting this new career thing I'm trying to do, I'm more comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, it makes me feel a lot
You broke
easier
your
for-
cherry on
Yeah,
stage.
broke my cherry. Broke my cherry with St. Madness.
And we've broken a few cherries.
Okay, you guys, everybody here has played music for quite a while. Do you still get that feeling of excitement when you get up on stage? Is it still as exciting as like it was when you were younger, or, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, even more so, because I enjoy the people I'm playing with, and the people I'm playing for, and so I mean every time, yeah, probably more so than when I was young.
For me, it's much more relaxed now.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I get every bit as excited, but like you're saying, Ink Demon Gene, the family feeling, we definitely have that. And people ask me to describe like all the St. Madness family, and I say it's the island of misfit metalheads. You know what I mean? And sometimes we'll find people that for a lot of time in their lives, they didn't have a lot of friends, or they were shy, and we'll get them in the crew, or we'll get them up on stage, or both. And you watch these people come out of their shell, and it's the most awesome thing. These very quiet people, all of a sudden they put on face paint or a mask or a costume or whatever, and they're this whole other person. And we get to be a part of that, you know? So for me, when I go on stage, and more than ever with St. Madness, I have that relaxed feeling in my heart, and it is like a family. And I have fun. Whereas maybe when I was younger, I was more serious about everything's got to be just so, and I'm not saying I'm not serious now, but I'm not as stressed out
We're
serious
more
as I
anal about
was.
things when we were young.
Well, for me anyways, there's two folds to the whole night of playing out. The first fold is all the way up until that first note that you hear come out of your amplifier, and you're shitting bricks just saying, oh my God, I hope it fucking comes on, I hope everything's good, I hope nothing fucking breaks, I hope, there's not a bad chord or nothing like that, I hope my guitar stays in tune, is it cracked in the case or something, all this shit goes through your head, and then as soon as you hear that first power chord and you're like, oh yeah, right on, then everything that we've done like in rehearsals, that's where the confidence comes in the performance, because we're going to know what each other's doing. You're not stressing over, oh my God, is the drums going to be there at this part, or is the bass here or there? You just know it's going to be there. And so then, so to me, the whole family thing starts back in the rehearsal room, and working together towards this goal, so that when we're on that stage,
Oh, that's a bunch of horse shit.
And that's why we have...
Well, he's the bastard child of the family.
And that's why we have... Sorry. We have a tradition that was started by Vampirism many years ago.
Steve.
That whenever we get a new member in the band, for them to officially be a member, they have to buy the band Kentucky Fried Chicken.
This fucker
with
still
side
owes
dishes.
me chicken. This fucker owes me
You
chicken.
just wanted the fucking crispy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
With side dishes. And it might sound silly to some, but to us, it symbolizes, number one, that the person's serious, they truly want to be in this band. And number two, it's our first meal together as brothers, sisters, band members. And there's something really cool
And
about that.
breaking bread with someone
And-
is a serious thing.
Exactly, right? And when Steve originally had said that, it's when Mad Marvin was joining the band, and he goes, well, tell him he's in if he buys a bucket of chicken. And it was a joke. So I ran with it. I'm still doing it, you know? And it's been a really,
We've
a really
all
cool
bought
thing.
chicken
Yeah.
We like
and
chicken.
sides,
KFC chicken.
but it has to be
It better
KFC.
not be that freaking
Yeah.
shit from the grocery store.
It's got to be Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Ain't that
That's
right?
just the way it is, you
Heinous
know?
James.
Yeah, Heinous James brought us fries chicken. I don't
It
know.
ain't the same, man.
Does not count. That does not count.
Yeah. Marge, what were you going to say?
I don't know, you guys get to go and then I forget where I'm at. so.
Well, you're in BAD MANOR
Okay.
3.
You're supposed to be
Alright.
writing this stuff down?
Right down the line, boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
I wear like them Michael Jordan briefs that look like shorts.
So they're like boxer briefs.
So they're not
Boxer
tidy
briefs.
whities. They're briefs.
Oh yeah, and mine aren't tidy
Boxer
whities
brief,
either,
is that what
yeah.
they're called?
Yeah.
When I wear them.
Yeah. Briefs or commando.
Banana hammocks.
What are we talking about?
I don't know, man.
Boxers or briefs?
Depends.
And that's believable.
I'm going with boxer briefs. They're boxers and briefs.
They're briefly boxers.
Yeah, that's
No
right.
thongs.
What are some of the best places you guys worked?
With the band? Like
Played?
performed?
Played, yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh my God.
Or what are your favorites?
I always love playing at Joe's Grotto. Joe's Grotto has an amazing sound system.
Here,
The
here.
vibe's good there.
We love Joe's.
Yes,
Cell block.
absolutely. And I also, when we played at 910 Live Outdoors for the first show that I played with the band, it was an
That was a
incredible.
good show.
And I really enjoyed that, playing outside too. So,
Those were really fun shows
Yeah, yeah.
at 910 Live.
yeah, those were fun.
Now that's not me.
In 2005, we played Jobbing.com Arena, which was called Glendale Arena. And we were the special musical guest for Rage in the Cage, which is like a UFC style cage fighting. And we were the only musical guest. And there were some rough things that happened that day, but I have to say, at the end of the day, looking back on it all, the largest crowd we ever played in front of at St. Manus is just over 8,000, and there was just over 8,000 people there. And in the middle of one of our original songs, because we played Walk in tribute to Dimebag Darrell, Vinnie Paul hadn't passed away at that time, so it was a tribute to Dimebag. But the next song after Walk, we played Speaking in Tongues, which is a St. Madness song off the Vampires in the Church album, and we got a huge mosh pit. And the cool thing about that was Rage in the Cage audience is not made up of all metalheads. I mean, you've got country guys and you've got literally every walk of life that goes to those fighting events. The fact that we got a really huge mosh pit was amazing. And it was wild enough that right after that song, the promoter pulled us off stage. And I guess some lady got thrown and he said she fell and broke her arm or whatever. And because I'm thinking, we're at a fighting event, man, right? I mean, you guys should be loving this. But I think it scared them. And maybe it's a lawsuit scare or something like that if someone gets injured. But they stopped us after that. But the damage had been done. So Glendale Arena, which is now jobbing.com, we played the Whiskey A Go-Go in 2010,
Yeah.
which was
That
an
was
honor.
really fun. Awesome sound fucking stage. They
Yes.
were awesome, man. I have to say my favorite show here locally is when venue was Scottsdale when we opened for
Flotsam and Jetsam.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a really good show.
And there's a video from that online on YouTube called Walk
We were doing Walk.
by St. Madness at venue of Scottsdale. It was like 2009 or whatever.
Yeah, I believe
But
so.
there was a big crowd and again, big mosh pit, and it was really awesome. So that's a great video from that particular show. And back in the old days, we used to play the Electric Ballroom, and I have to mention the Mason Jar
Mason
because
Jar,
to me Mason Jar
Franco.
was Arizona's Whiskey A Go Go.
Everybody knows Franco.
It was a legendary, iconic venue, and I was so sad to see that go. It's now called the Rebel Lounge, and it's cool. We played there. But back in the day when it was Mason Jar, you'd walk in this club, and all the walls were filled with pictures of Franco, with different rock stars and local bands. The whole place was like a museum when you walked in there. I used to love to just walk around and look through all the pictures. It was so cool. And then if you look back at all the bands that played there, I mean, literally almost every hero we all have has played that little club, the Mason Jar. And with St. Madness, we played there till 2 or 3 weeks before it closed. And we had probably, I can't put a number on it, but we played there a lot. And we used to do a lot of shows with Sacred Reich that were great. And but that has to always be one of my favorite places to play, just because of the legend of it and everything. It was a real honor to be on that stage.
Milwaukee, not the best.
It was a good show at the Nile too with Gwar. I thought that was a fun
Yeah.
place because it was all young crowd that didn't know us at all, and they were all like Gwar fans. But they really accepted us a lot. I mean, we sold a lot of merch and stuff that night, and people were like, "Wow, yeah, it's cool."
And what was cool about it was, a few times every year, from what I understand, Gwar puts on a concert without their get-ups. They just strip, and wear regular clothes. And since we were direct support with them, we decided that we're going to do our very first show as St. Madness without face paint.
Right.
And so we performed.
That was a little scary.
Yeah, right? Right, But that's what's so cool about it was we sold a lot of merch that night and made a lot of new fans and signed a lot of autographs. And it was Gwar's crowd, It wasn't like, I had a few people that I recognized from other shows, but a lot of the people that were there I didn't know at all. And that was the beauty of it, They really, really warmed up to us and accepted it. And Margie brought up the Milwaukee Metal Fest that we played in 1998 and 99. Those were, it's a legendary metal fest, and basically what you have is 100 bands from all over the world come to this place, and they put on a metal fest. And both years that we played, the lineups were just incredible. And back then we had our own bus, and so the promoter, Jack Koshik, didn't even know who we were, but he knew we were playing, but he didn't know about us anything. And we just show up with our own bus and park right next to the venue and walk in and just kind of do whatever the hell we want to do. And later he goes up to Marge, he goes, "Who are you people?" and it was, the first year when we went in 98, 95% of that crowd were black and death metal and hardcore people. And we're a metal band, but we're like, when we say metal, every part of metal we mix into our sound. So there is a little bit of death in there, and there is a little bit of hardcore, but there's a little bit of 80s, there's a little bit of blues, there's a little bit of country. We smash all this together, and that's how you get St. Madness. So we didn't know if, how we would be accepted with a crowd like that.
Okay.
But I have to say, we had a great time, and they accepted us just fine. It was wonderful.
I think Gwar was one of my favorites.
Yeah, Gwar.
Yeah, but I think my all-time favorite, and this is because is just a crazy fun night was your 20th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 20th
Yes.
anniversary was I think by far is my favorite show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Joe's Grotto. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was fun. We just had
Yeah,
a
I was
blast.
thinking that the stage might collapse with all the people that were on it that night.
I can't believe all the people that.
Yeah, we had our 20th anniversary concert at Joe's Grotto on September 28th of 2013. And at that time, we had 5 former members of the band come up and play with us. And you're right. When you walked into the venue that night, or when I did, it just felt right. And it was like everybody was there to have fun. You could tell that, you can always tell by an audience before you go on kind of what kind of night it's going to be. And that night you walked in, you could just see people were there to have fun. And everything about that night just fell together perfect and beautiful. And yeah, I agree with you. That will always be one of my all-time favorite shows. Yeah.
And anybody that's listening out there in the world, if you want to invite us to come play a nice show somewhere, you know, just drop us a line, and we'd love to come play some big venues, you know. So, hey, you know, drop us a line. We'd love
As
it.
long as you're buying, we'll be there.
Yeah, if you're buying, and it's Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Hell yeah.
Make sure you
Do
get some
they have
crispy.
that in Singapore?
Yes, probably.
Just if you stay in the main metropolitan areas, right?
Now, Masorum here is a new guy. And he came here from Colorado, but
He's a Yankee.
the really interesting thing about this story is that when he was in Colorado, he was in a band with Van Pearsum. And then he just happened to move here, or somehow he ended up here, and he ended up in a band that Van Pearsum co-founded. So that's really cool. So what were your favorite places to play in Colorado when you were playing there?
The Ogden Theater was amazing out
It's
there.
a good place.
Yeah, it's a great place. Bluebird's all right. As far as the smaller clubs, what used to be called X Saloons, now called Silver Spur Saloon, they just remodeled that. That's a great place to play. Herman's Hideaway. Herman's Hideaway is another great place. There's a lot of great venues down there.
What was it like to be in a band with Van Pearsum after he had left?
Humbling.
St. Madness.
Humbling. I mean, Steve became my brother out there. Steve was, we would hang out on and off stage, and everything. And we were playing guitar together, we were writing songs together.
You touch Peter heads together?
No, we never touched before. No, sorry.
That's why you weren't that close.
Yeah, you weren't that close.
But yeah, we'd write songs, and it's like Sid was saying, we'd be writing a song. He'd know where I was going to go, and I'd know exactly where he's going to go. I mean, the chemistry was amazing. So then when we were together in Beyond Redemption, and he had to part ways with us, I went through a few other guitarists, and nobody could touch him. I just got to the point
Well,
where
I agree with that.
I couldn't even continue doing that. And then actually a few months later, I moved here. So
It's the skirt, huh?
it is a skirt. Well, actually, no, he left the skirt here.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Damn it.
So, and how was it when you told him that, or did he suggest to you look up St. Madness, or did you say to him you want to audition?
No, he suggested to me to come check you guys out. So that's why I ended up down at the Halloween show.
Is that the Halloween game?
I remember.
Yep. Went down to that show, and then I was actually looking for bands while I was down here, and then when you contacted me, actually I hadn't even talked to Steve about it yet.
Yeah.
He slipped me his number, but I thought it was for something else.
I actually, after you contacted me, I actually asked Steve.
The swashbuckler over
I
there.
asked Steve if it was gonna be all right. I said, it's kind of like watching somebody fuck your ex-woman. So
Yeah, is that what he said?
That's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
He said, no, it's fine. Go do it. So,
Not that we appreciate you calling us someone's ex-woman, but
well,
he lost a few points, Margie.
We're an X.
Just listening.
And how did you find out about the band, and how did you get here?
I found it out, well, I moved to Arizona in about 1996, the end of 96, and St. Madness was one of the first bands that I saw live at the Mason Jar. And that was the first time I'd
Damn,
been at the
you're
Mason
old.
Jar, first time I saw these people. And what was I saying?
You were saying how you got here.
These people.
Good weed.
These people.
I don't mean on planet Earth, though. I just mean in the
So
band.
fast forward to a year ago.
Get through the birth canal.
That's awesome.
No, I saw that they were needing a drummer, and there was an ad on Facebook, I think.
Said
So
no
I just-
wannabes though.
Right. And it sounded like something different that I like to do. I have a habit of choosing projects that are nothing like each other. And it seemed like a real fun thing to do, and I wanted to play metal again, because I wasn't at that time. And then
Good choice.
they seemed to like what I was doing.
It's alright.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Get fired.
I was a semi-child over it the first time.
Thanks, guys.
And Sid and I have known each other since probably 1991, somewhere around there.
I knew you in Aurora.
I had met his wife. She was working at a Denny's, and she was telling us that her husband played music and so forth, and I forget how we got in touch, but way back then he was in a band called Psychic Warfare, and I was singing for a band called Blitzen. And we both played at a concert I put together in '91 called Unity Fest '91, and it was for Phoenix Youth at Risk. It was a benefit, and it was an outdoor thing at Scottsdale Community College Amphitheater, and I think we had 10 acts on that. And some were metal, some were blues, some were acoustic, some were, it's like an alternative, a little mix of everything. And then in 1992, Sid approached me and said that he had 3 songs recorded already in the studio, but he didn't have a singer or any lyrics for the songs. Or he basically told me, write whatever you want and
Liberty.
come in and
Full
sing.
Liberty, yeah.
And I already liked Sid because we had done shows with him in Psychic Warfare, and I really liked Psychic Warfare. They were a great band, and he was, to me, he was the guy that I always watched. And so when he approached me, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I took the songs home, and immediately I could listen to whatever they had, and I had lyrics. Like, as soon as I heard it, I'd go, I know what I'm writing about, you know? And it's that way now. So in '93, I start Crown of Thorns, which becomes Saint Madness, and he was with our former bass player Randy Axe in a band called Stone Council in this complex in a different room. And we just kind of listened to each other, and eventually Randy Axe ended up in Saint Madness, and eventually Sid ended up in Saint Madness. And what's cool about that is in 2012, I was really down, and I was thinking about just putting the band away, you know, and I was auditioning people. I didn't hear what I wanted to hear, and I was just kind of bummed. I'd just taken a really cool vacation in Europe. I went to Holland to see my brother and his wife, and had a wonderful time. And I came back, and the whole time I was in Holland, I was thinking, you know, maybe St. Madness is done. Maybe it's finally finished. No shame in that, from '93 to 2012.
Sure.
So I think I put out a post on Facebook, and I just kind of expressed a bit of frustration. And Sid sent me a message, I believe, privately.
I was stalking him, so that's how I.
And he wasn't in a band. He wasn't even playing metal, I don't think, at that time.
No.
But he wrote me, and he
He
said,
was just playing with himself.
yeah, he was just playing with himself.
My little ding-a-ling.
And he contacted me and said, I would really like to be your guitar player if you'll have me. And I said, come on, dude. Are you serious? Because I knew he wasn't in a band and that. He goes, no, I'm serious. And so I told Margie, I said, you know, if Sid can play guitar anything like what he used to, we can build a band around him and me, because we know how to write songs together. And she's like, I don't know, because he had short hair. He looked no metal at that time at all. And he came in and we jammed, and it was like, I knew right there. I'm like, you know what? It ain't dead yet. So we're gonna move on. And we did immediately. We put out Carnimetal. We wrote 2 songs for that, brand new, recorded them, did Sweet Leaf as a cover, and put out a best of to connect all the past together. And then we started on Bloodlustcapades.
We did 3 songs, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did Sweet
Drowning
Leaf
on
as a
Air?
cover, and then we
Yeah.
did Drowning on Air and Blood, Guts, and Glory.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we added them to the best of.
Yeah, that was fun.
And after all these years, for me, it's exactly the same as it was back in 1992 when I heard his music. I went, I know what I'm going to write to, and I can write to that. And that's really, for anybody out there who's been in a lot of bands, it's really a special gift because, you know, when it clicks musically, it's magic, and you can't even put a dollar amount on it. Something really special and magical happens. You take nothing, and by the end of the night, you're going home and you're like, holy fuck, that was cool. And then when you record it, you take it home, or you know, you put it on your computer or whatever, and it's just, I still feel just as amazed to this day when certain songs are created and I listen to them and I go, I feel honored that I even get it beyond that song, you know? Like, had I had nothing to do with the lyrics or any of it, if I just got to sing that song, wow, you know.
Yeah,
how
that's
cool.
what I feel about that new acoustic song, Trails.
Yeah. Fuck you, all right?
Not the goddamn name of the song.
That's the official name of the
It's
song.
called Ghosts on the Trail, okay?
Trails was a fucking headshot.
All of these guys just call it Trails. Trails? Okay, we're gonna play Trails, and I'm like, no.
Ghost on those in
called Ghost on the
parentheses
Trail.
really small.
And then now people can go home and go, Prophet's a picky asshole. A little bit anal, aren't you, Prophet? But anyway, yeah, like I said, the new acoustic record, there's stuff on there, like, wow. I listen to it, I'm like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I feel grateful just to be a part of it. And what's cool here, too, is everybody here has played music forever, and it's our heart and soul. You know, we treat it like a business, like the business that it is. We take it serious, you know. If you look around the room here, this is just where we rehearse, you know, but you'll see just by looking around the room that we take it serious, you know. When I was young and I was in a band, the whole floors were filled with beer cans and you know, but I have a much more greater appreciation for the art that we create now, and this is a working environment here. You know, I'm so glad that we rehearse away from our homes. Now, I've been in bands where you rehearse at your homes, and that's cool. I go out in my garage and, you know, I jam. But there's nothing like going to a place to play, because that's like going to your job, going to work. It's different for me. It's like it's a serious attitude when we come here, and we have a hell of a lot of fun. But you know, I look around the room here and I go, I can't believe I get to be here and do this.
Yep. I think one of the things that I really like about this band too is it's a testament to the working relationships with the former members you were talking about earlier, about the different former members and all the people. We've never had a problem having them all get together and like do something now that they're not in the band anymore, and that shows a lot as far as, you know, they're not like, well, fuck you guys, you fucked me over, and
Right.
like that. Everybody's mutually still friends, and I think that's a really cool thing, and that goes to the family part. That's why it's more than just a band. It's like you said, it's that family, and that stays with you even when you get out of the band.
Except
You know,
for
whatever
Brandon, I
reasons.
hate you, Brandon.
Yeah, the new Prophet and the Cowboys of Apocalypse record, which is going to be called Last Days in Paradise, we have these members of Saint Madness, and we have Heinous James, Ryan inputted a song on it, and we have 2 songs on there from Christian Satan, from Brandon. We're going to have a song from Van Pearsum called Silent Tears. And again, we have Dave Cornwall, who's going to lay in some music to it. And the
All
cool thing
very
about that,
talented musicians.
right? And the cool thing about that is we have 4 different St. Madness guitar players on this record, and that's
Right,
like wow.
And gonna be 5.
Right. No, 5.
5, yeah.
Holy shit.
That's
I'm so
my
back here.
question.
Who are you?
Oh yeah, where'd this fucking guy come from?
Who's this fucking George?
I'm saying.
No, man, you brought chicken. You're all right.
An extra guitar player.
What's that?
When?
What's
If-
that?
If you had an extra guitar player along with your main guitar, I'm not sure of all your nicknames, but
Miss Sorum is our rhythm guitar player.
did you have 2 guitar players ever in any of your other bands?
Yes. In
Linus,
Crown of Thorns,
yeah.
the first album, Loneliness is Black, we had 2 guitar
I ran
players.
lights, I can't remember.
When we put out Vampires in the Church in 2006, we had Mad Marvin and Altar Boy, who later became Christian Satan, on the same record.
And briefly, we had Trash.
Yeah, we had a guy
With,
briefly. It didn't work out,
Yeah.
but I love having it because when you have 2 guitars on stage,
It's huge.
it just fills everything in, and it makes the sound so much bigger and crunchier, and even a little bit more aggressive.
Now,
It
when I
frees
fuck
sit
up, you can't hear it.
Yeah, it frees Sid up now because he's got that rhythm going underneath him, and that rhythm also helps keep time, and it gives cues and so forth. So the bottom doesn't drop out like when he goes to play a solo. And you know, we're fortunate because Devlin is a loud bass player, so he did fill in those parts. But then when you lay a nice thick guitar over that too, while Sid's soloing, it's just wow.
Huge.
Any other questions?
No, I don't bleach that anymore.
He's close for that.
But you still wax it
Would you wait
though.
around?
You still wax that brown eye though. That's not how we're gonna end the fucking.
No, my carpets don't match the drapes. Who cares?
What drapes?
A lot of people are going with no carpet.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I said, what drapes?
Nah.
Just call me Old Smoothie.
Prophet, what's your favorite? Writing and recording or live concerts?
Oh, come on. That's rough. That's a rough question.
I love them both equally because I can't say better because when you're in the studio, like as you're coming up to going in the studio and you're thinking about the songs you're going to record, I'll speak for me. I have a picture in my mind of how I hope the songs will come out. But then when you get in there and you actually start laying it down, and we record our albums with Larry Elia over at Mind's Eye Digital Studio in Phoenix, Arizona.
Best producer in the goddamn
And he
world.
co-produces with me, and you're right, he's the best. I mean, as long as that man has a studio, we'll make our music there. But I'll come in with an idea in my head, okay, it's gonna sound like this. And we get in there and this little magic happens, and the studio is almost like going to another planet, you know? But on stage is like letting everything go, letting your hair down, relax, have fun. Studio's a little more serious, but it's a good serious because you're creating art. So I can't say, you know, performing on stage is better than making an album. It's just different, and they're both really, really great. And that's why we have so many albums, because it's like the coolest thing ever. I can remember a time in my life when I had friends who had went to a nice studio and made a demo tape, and I was so like, God, I wish I could do that, but I can't afford to go to a recording studio, you know? And I had dreams of being able to record one song and get it on the radio. That was a big deal. And all these years later, I've got to make all these different wonderful records, and we're on lots of radio, and you know, it's like, it's hard to describe. With music, you get to take all your feelings that you carry around with you and put them out here and create art. And sometimes you create art that actually helps other people that are also suffering with stuff inside. And they hear your songs and they come back to us later and they say, man, when I heard that Saint Madness song, it really helped me through difficult times. And, you know, I wanted to kill myself or whatever.
Because it sucked.
You know, yeah, it was so horrible. I had the gun right here. But no, it's magic. Music is one of the most beautiful forms of true magic that there ever is or ever will be, in my opinion. So I don't have a favorite. I just
Turn goat piss into buttermilk.
That's a great question, though. Do you guys what do you
Well,
think?
I have
Dylan?
to say, man, I love recording, but as you guys know me, I live to play live. I mean, y'all see me, man,
Yeah.
because nobody gets to see my face in the studio. You know?
My I'm coming face.
I would say live definitely is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Especially when everything's clicking and you don't even have to think about what you're doing. Your body's just doing it.
Yeah.
And you kind of go in that zone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you go on autopilot.
Yeah.
Your body knows how to do it because you've rehearsed it so much.
Exactly.
Right.
You just do.
Yeah.
Just go.
So you just see yourself a little above yourself, you know what I mean? You can not worry so much about fucking something up or dropping a stick or forgetting something or whatever.
See, the beauty of the studio, though, is if you fuck up, you just re-record it.
Right, you just do it again. And that's another thing about the live thing, is just the adrenaline rush. And it's like the best feeling ever I found in my life. And
Yeah, especially when the crowd's
that's
into
what
it.
it's
interaction with the crowd.
mostly all about for me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you see people getting off on what you're doing, that's an awesome feeling.
What do you
More.
think?
I'd agree. I mean, with the interaction with the crowd and seeing people react to something you've created, you know, and just seeing how much enjoyment you're bringing to them is awesome. But the studio, I agree with you. I mean, you go in there and you create something, and that's there forever. You know, you just made history. You know, and when you create something like that, that's that awesome, and you're that proud of it, and you're showing people, and they're going, "Wow!" There's no other feeling like that either. So it's a hard question.
Yeah.
To me, I like the studio about that much more than playing out live. And I'll tell you why I do, because, you know, when you see
he wears
songs...
panties.
when besides, there's a great couch there at the studio that you got to experience it. If you're in a band, you got to experience Larry's
There's a
couch.
fucking
But
robe in the
anyways,
studio.
the studio, when you work and rehearse and hammer out songs and stuff like that. But like what you were saying, when you get to the studio, there's like a magic that happens. Like you can feel it in your performances, like especially like if you're doing solos, like as a lead guitar player, there's a certain magic that comes out, and it's almost like you're tapping into an energy that's bigger than you. You know, it's and then when you get it all back, and you hear this song that sounded rough and raw, like garage, recordings, like we keep so we can hear what we sound like. And then when you get it back from the studio and everything's in its place and you can hear everything and it's crystal clear, it's a wonderful mix. There's a magic that happens. And I like what you guys were saying about you're putting something down that's going to be a part of history. Your creation. And when you do it with all the rest of the guys, it becomes bigger than just each of the individuals. It becomes way bigger, and that's where the magic is.
As a follow-up to that, and this will be addressed to Sid, Cathy, and
What?
Sid Prophet. Yeah. Sorry.
Prophet, Sid, and Devlin?
Yes. Anyways, my question is how much and how glad are you of the team you have behind you because, for instance, making a record requires more than just the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
You have artists. We have Eric Mack, who's done our layout for us for album after album. We have a new artist that works with us now, Jeff West. We have Larry Love, that's, I always laugh and call the fifth Beatle. So tell me a little.
Now he's the sixth Beatle.
Yeah, I guess so. So if you would, tell me your experiences with the team you have behind you that helps you make success.
Great.
Because even though you don't, for instance, Sid, even though you don't work directly with Eric Mack, you see the artwork, you got your commentary, right. You like it or don't like it, it represents your art.
Right.
So I'm just...
No, I think the one thing about, if you look at any of the St. Madness CDs, the artwork is a major part of the CDs, and it's so much better to have a CD that has like the lyrics in it and has killer artwork and tells you something about the band and about stuff like that. Because so often nowadays you'll get a CD and it has just a little thing on the thing. It's in a little sleeve. There's no information. It tells you nothing about the band. And so, it's okay, I guess. But, I think the artwork and the artists that we have working, the team, we want to talk about the studio. The team that puts us into the studio is the thing that if it wasn't for that team, you wouldn't hear any of us.
Right.
And so, if without the team, none of this would be here.
Yeah, without all the former members. Right.
Yes, and as a member that's come in, 6 years ago now? 6 years ago?
October 2012.
Yeah. I often feel like I'm coming in and I'm drinking out of wells that I never had to dig. I'm getting... gigs and things that I would have never gotten. I didn't put in all that work throughout the years, but all the people that did up until that day and laid the foundation,
He's reaping the benefits
we're benefiting from all that work, So I feel grateful. I feel grateful to be a part of that. And I'll never forget all the people that helped before to make it what it is right now.
I agree with that. There's not a former member. There might be one, but there's not really any that if I saw in a club or out that I wouldn't give them a big hug or shake their hand and be genuinely happy to see them. And I believe that they'd be happy to see me. And that's like a really cool thing, because bands are like marriages. You spend a lot of time together, you spend your money, you work hard together. And some bands have really horrible breakups, and I'm real proud to say that we never have. There's any of the former members, I can send them an email or call them or whatever, and we have great conversations or great emails, and I'm grateful to every single one of them. Now, as far as the people sitting here right now, I feel completely confident and extremely happy to be making music with these guys. Mm-hmm. We have there's a vibe here. And we're each very different people, but when we start playing music together, it has that magic and it has that fun. And maybe because we're all older and we've all done this so long, we know how to do it. We don't have to overthink it. But I'm having a great time making music with these guys.
Hell yeah.
Devlin?
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Damn.
Some
I
of
thought
us are
this was the
making music.
alcoholics meeting. I'm in the wrong Oh no, man. I play like Prophet says. We played with a lot of different musicians on and off. And what this team right now that I'm here with, I'm just as confident as I've ever been with anybody that I've ever played in St. Madness. Yeah, fuckers. Except for him.
Yeah, except for me,
I don't
because
like-
I'm the wild man, and they never know when I'm just going to go off. So,
Yeah.
I'm the unpredictable one in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yes,
might
you
film
gotta
us
be
in a week and this
through.
whole place will
Yeah,
be
man.
destroyed.
Yeah.
I hope not.
No,
I pray not. But it might be.
Right.
Anything else?
Wrap up, guys?
Well,
Yeah.
I would like to, we lost a comrade in arms, and I'll let you Prophet tell you about it, but I would like to, request a moment of silence for our fallen drummer comrade.
The original drummer for Crown of Thorns, First we had Randall Mad Drums, but only for a couple months, and we brought in a guy named Jim McGettrick. And Jim was in the band, I would say probably a year, 6 months to a year. When he was in the band, we had an hour and a half worth of music that we wrote that was all connected. In other words, one song would transition right into the next song for an hour and a half. And Jim was one of the funniest guys I've ever known in my life. And he passed away on June 30th, 2018. So it hasn't been that long. And I was shocked. I just recently found out. I hadn't talked to him in a while. And I found out that Jim had passed. So Jim McGettrick, I know you're in heaven. And I know you're looking down on us. And I love you, brother. And thank you for being a part of this. You helped start this. So I hope you look down with a big smile.
Gentlemen, can I get a wrap-up statement from each one of you? Whether it's just fuck you, I'm out.
All right. Wrap
I thought
up.
we were a metal band, Rat.
Yeah. That is pretty old school. Anybody that's watching this out there, I hope that any of our music that you hear or videos or whatever is entertaining. Number one, that it puts a smile on your face, or like what you were saying earlier, takes you to a place where it helps you. I don't want to get too corny about it, but music is a language that speaks, and I hope our music speaks to our fans in a good way. That's what I really wish for.
And I just want to say that it's been my honor from day one to do what we're doing and to see so many smiling faces at our shows, and to have people come up to me and say, hey man, back in the 90s when I was underage, I used to sneak in the clubs just to go see your band. Or a musician will come up to us and go, man, you're one of the reasons why I play guitar, or your band is why I picked up an instrument, or things like that. It's a real honor. And for me, we're just gonna keep going, I guess, till we can't go anymore. So it ain't over yet.
I just want to say what an honor it is to be playing with you guys. I mean, this is where I want to be. Of any other bands that I've ever been in, this is the one.
Nice.
Right on. Hey man, I just want to say to the fans of metal music and the fans of St. Madness, just thank you. Thank you for all that you've done for us. Thank you for being you.
Buy our stuff.
Yeah, buy our shit.
That way we can make
Yeah.
more.
Buy some product, come and see us live, because that's, like I'm saying, that's where it's at, man. That's where you see the magic happen.
You will
know
not
what I
be
mean?
disappointed.
And
Yeah.
I have fun every time we've done it. I've done it in this band, and it just gets better and better. And come out and see us, please.
All
Keep
right,
the metal scene
What do I
alive.
got to
Now.
do? Show you
Now.
my butt?
Gene, come kneel here, would you? And take that off.
Nate,
This will be a
Gene,
really
would you
short,
come
very,
down right
very. This will be very short. Yeah. Yeah. No, I want you.
You didn't bring chicken.
Now, you might need to move that, but what I want Jim to do is I want Jim to count 1, 2, 3, and we're all gonna yell, "It's all Spinal Tap."
One, two, three.
It's all Spinal Tap.